or you're just one of those women that are always starving. And when I say starving, I mean starving for male validation. Your friends come around, all of a sudden now you want to crack jokes, all of a sudden now you want to play that remember one game and embarrass your friends because you want these dudes to kiki and laugh, because from them laughing, it's like them giving you approval and then them giving you validation and attention that you clearly lack from your daddy. Or let's say you're always getting into romantic relationships and men are always making you do uncle things that you don't, not even making you do. They're always asking for favors of some sort, and you do it instead of just saying no or moving along. You do it because you want this man to love you. In today's video, I want to talk about why nice girls finish fast. Disclaimer, when I say nice girls, I'm not talking about women who are genuinely kind, women who are genuinely respectful, women who genuinely talk to people, treat people with human decency. And also, this is not equivalent to men who say, oh, I'm a nice guy. Like, anytime as a woman, anytime you ever see a man saying, oh, I'm a nice guy, that's why women, oh, I'm a nice guy, that's why women don't like me, or I'm a nice guy, that's why women don't, you know what I'm talking about. You should probably take off your shoes and run for the hills, because when men say that, it's usually them being nice to you or them being nice to a woman in the hopes that she's going to reward that kindness. When you want your kindness to be rewarded, that's not genuine kindness. That's kindness that wants to be rewarded. Like, what do you mean? Like, will you be out and we'd be at the mall or something, and someone holds the door for you, and then they only do that with the intention of asking you for your number, and then now when you don't give them your number, now you're being called every single nasty name, like, fine, then you ugly, da, da, da. Or someone's courting you, like a man is courting you for a couple of months, he's so respectful, he fits he fits like he's like, basically you're checking the list out, like respectful, kind, doesn't talk about sexual things, doesn't, he's not really fast with his hand, he's taking you to dinner dates, he's buying you flowers, and then down the line he either asks you for news because he thinks that for all those things he was doing he should be rewarded, or he's asking you for sexual favors like they always do. So it's just like that, like men who are nice to women who only want like their kindness to be rewarded with some disgusting thing like sexual favors and stuff like that, that's not equivalent to this. Anyways, let's get into why nice girls finish last. So when I say a nice girl, I'm talking about a woman who's always putting her wants and needs on the back burner. She's always putting other people's wants at the front. She's always putting other people's needs at the front. She's always putting either her moms, her dads, her siblings, young girls who always raising their siblings when their mom is just having kids for them. The mom is having all these kids, especially like in our cultures. Like, you see like a lot of aunties who have a lot of kids because they know that their older daughter or their eldest daughter is going to take care of those kids. They can basically become a second parent. Or like women who in romantic relationships, they're always putting their desires and their ambition and their goals to the side in hopes of to support their man, and then so they can be seen as a good wife or a good girlfriend. And when you're doing things for other people and they're not things that you genuinely want to do, they're just things that you do because you want to get praised for being a good girl or a nice girl, that's not genuine. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to get burned out, and on the end of the day, you're going to become very resentful and bitter when things don't go your way. And a lot of those times when women are always taught to be selfless and they're always doing everything for everybody else, it doesn't always go the way that they want. 99% of the times when women are told to do selfless acts and then they're going to get rewarded for it, they're never rewarded for it. So let's get into what causes a woman, or like a young woman or women in general, to be a nice girl, or like to fall into this category of nice girlness. The first thing that causes this whole nice girlness issue is society. When you're a woman, when you're a young woman, when you're old, it doesn't really matter. You're always conditioned to do things a certain way. Compared to men, like, women are always supposed to be kind. They're always supposed to be smiling. Why do you think, like, if I was lying, why do you think as a woman, random men who see you in the street always have like so much, entitlement to tell you as a random woman, as a grown woman that they do not know, to smile, sweetie, like, that's just so rude. Or like when you're getting catcalled and you say, hey, I don't like that, now all of a sudden you're the B word. Like, growing up, especially in like certain cultures, well, young girls are expected to, you know, take care of the house chores while their brothers don't do anything. Sometimes the brothers are older and they're more capable, and everybody knows like boys are stronger than, you know, girls, but yeah, girls are expected to do a lot way more. When like things happen like between a man and a woman, or especially like a young girl and a young boy, and you know repercussions need to happen, all of a sudden it's, oh well, girls mature faster than boys anyways, and now all the blame is being put on a girl. So it's just things like that. Like societal conditions you to act a certain way. When the people that you're around always expect something, a certain, like for you to act a certain way, you're going to act and adhere to those rules because you don't want to be an outcast. Like for example, like say a lot of communities, like especially in the Muslim communities, in the like the wider greater Muslim community, everybody has their own ethnicity and race, and you know what I'm talking about. A lot of the times, like when young girls get married or when young women get married, they're expected to move away from their family, away from their job, away from their friends to where the man is. If you like were someone who had a brain of her own, you would say, why would I want to do that? Like, I have a life of my own. I don't want to move away from my, what do you call, family. I'm either A, going away from my Aleph for another man who's probably gonna, who wants to be in the same area as me, or I'm gonna have to do some sort of compromise with this man, you know. But you're taught to just, oh, move away with your husband, he's your husband. Another thing is like you're pressured to get married are really young. There's nothing wrong with getting married young. Let's just start there. There's nothing wrong with getting married young. There's nothing wrong with having kids young. None of that. But I'm saying, like, especially now, for example, like for me, I'm Somali, and in the Somali community, it's getting a bit better about things like this. But I just turned 23 last year, and I'm already hearing things from my mom and people calling her talking about, oh, when is your daughter getting married? She's already going to be 24 this year. Like, she's going to be too old. She needs to have kids. Had I been like one of those nice girls who want to please everybody around them, I would have gotten married to some man I don't want. I would have been in some marriage that I do not want. I would have been in a home that I genuinely do not want to be in. And I would have had a kid or 2 kids that I genuinely do not want. So it's just things like that. Like when you're doing things to please other people, and you do things because you want other people to praise you. Like, oh, Holland Hashim, she's married. Oh, you know, she got married young. She has a kid. Like wanting to be praised because, you know, doing things that you don't want to do that are expected from you because you want to be praised is not going to take you anywhere at the end of the day. Because why would I want to be in a marriage that I do not want, or having a child that I do not want? Because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, resentment, I don't know why I keep holding this, but it's so hot. At the end of the day, resentment shows. People always think that resentment doesn't show, but resentment shows. When you are resentful of your current situation, it will show one way or the other. That's why do you think a lot of people are bad parents? Because they do not like having their kids. They just had it because that's what society told them to have, you know, to do. Why do you think a lot of people are bad spouses, either bad husbands or bad wives? They don't want to be married, or they don't like the person that they're married to. They just did it because that's what everybody around them was doing, and that's what's expected of them. So when you always want to do things because society tells you to do it, your community tells you to do it, and you generally do not want to do it, you're going to become very bitter and very resentful, because in your head you're thinking, if I do what they want me to do, I'm going to get praise. Praise is just that, oh, praise, they just praise you, and then what? Like 2 minutes of people stroking your ego, and then they go home and you're probably not gonna see them again. What's that gonna do for you? Absolutely nothing. Or you think that you're going to get rewarded from that, and when you don't get rewarded, which a lot of times you're not going to get rewarded, then now you're gonna be upset. So yeah. Another thing that causes like this whole nice girl syndrome is mommy issues. People always focus on daddy issues, but why don't people ever talk about mommy issues? Because I feel like a lot of women, due to misogynistic cultural practices that forces women to have children that they do not want to have, a lot of women are terrible parents. They really are. If you really pay attention to it, a lot of moms are horrible parents, especially to their daughters. But I digress. Anyways, mommy issues causes things like this too. Like, especially when you're a young girl, you're always trying to seek your mom's attention. Your mom's just so vile. She's always in a competition with you. She's always being so rude to you. She's always being so disrespectful to you. You think like she's your #1 hater on this planet. That causes you to have like horrible or toxic relationships with other women as you grow older. You're either going to be not wanting to be near other women, so now you're going to be that, I don't hang out with girls because there's too much drama, or B, you're going to be one of those girls that are always looking their friends' booty. Like, you're always going to be, you know, doing things that that you have no business doing. You're going to be going to places that you have no business going to, you know, wearing things that you don't want to wear, all because you want to impress your friends, all because you don't want to be like out of the group, or all because you want friends, you know, your female friends yeah, your female friends attention and validation. Like, for example, let's say you're friends with someone and they come to your house and they want to take your, they want to borrow your favorite dress. And instead of saying, hey, I don't want you to borrow my favorite dress because A, this is my favorite dress, and B, because I don't want you to, you're going to let them borrow your favorite dress. They're probably not going to return it, or they're probably going to damage it, or probably they're just a little bit bigger than you now that your dress gets stretched, or whatever happens. And now you're going to be very upset. Now you're going to be sad. Now you're going to feel regretful, like, damn, why did I give her this? Had you just said, no, I'm not giving you my thing, like, no, I don't share clothes, or no, that's a fair, like, you can pick anything else, but I don't want to, like, you know, give you this dress, you wouldn't feel resentful towards the person, and you wouldn't feel regretful of your decision. And that's the thing, like, when you're being kind because you want to be praised for being kind, it's not the same as being genuinely kind. Because if you were genuinely kind, you wouldn't matter someone, it wouldn't matter to you if someone took something from you and they borrowed it, and then if they ended up losing it or something happens, you would have been like, oh, whatever, who cares? But you're going to be super upset because you never wanted to give this item to this person. And that's just things like that. Like, say you're talking to your friends and one of them mentions that she's talking to an ex of yours, and this is not just no ex, I know, like an ordinary ex, he's like your favorite person, and you guys just went through hell and back and blah, blah, blah. And now, had you been like a normal person who didn't care about, you know, pleasing other people, you would be like, why the hell are you talking to my ex? Like, that's so rude and disrespectful. Like, where's girl code? But because you want to impress your little friends and you don't want to seem like, you know, the girl who's always rocking the boat, you're gonna say, oh, okay, it's not a big deal, you can talk to him. It's just things like that. When you're being nice, you know, your niceness is not genuine, first of all, and you're only being nice because you want to be praised as a good girl or as a nice girl. Things like that come and they catch up to you and they bite you right in your coochie. They really do. But anyways, another thing is daddy issues. Daddy issues, the most famous issues, because everybody and their mom got daddy issues. I don't have daddy issues though, alhamdulillah. My daddy loves me, and not to brag. But anyways, another thing is daddy issues. A lot of men, not a lot of men, like, well, a lot of people have daddy issues. Like, that's not something that I don't have to pull up statistics, or that's not something that I'm pulling out of my ass. But anyways, a lot of people have daddy issues. Say, for example, you're a girl with daddy issues. You know, your mom loved you, everybody else loved you, but your daddy was just horrible. And now you're growing up to be one of those women who just cannot stand men. Like, you're not getting around a man, you're not talking to a man, you don't want to look at a man. I feel like, bitch, that's just a little bit better. Or you're just one of those women that are always starving. And when I say starving, I mean starving for male validation. Your friends come around, all of a sudden now you want to crack jokes, all of a sudden now you want to play that remember one game, and embarrass your friends because you want these dudes to kiki and laugh, because from them laughing, it's like them giving you approval, and then them giving you validation and attention that you know, clearly lack from your daddy. Or let's say you're always getting into romantic relationships and men are always making you do things that you don't, not even making you do. They're always asking for favors of some sort, and you do it instead of just saying no or moving along. You do it because you want this man to love you. Let's just say I start talking to a new man and he seems cool and he's asking me for nudes. Instead of just saying I don't send nudes and then blocking him, because if somebody's asking you that, that's disgusting. Like, you should just block them in general. You send the man the nudes, and now you're feeling so disgusted with yourself now, because you didn't want to do this. That's the thing. Like, if you wanted to do it, it's one thing, but you didn't genuinely want to do it, and so now you're feeling very disgusted with yourself. You feel ashamed because you're thinking, like, why the hell did I do that? You only did that because you want this man's approval and you want this man's validation. That's another thing of being a nice girl. Like, you're always doing things because you want other people's approval and because you want to make other people happy. And on top of that, you don't want to be like that girl who just rocks the boat. Like, anytime you ask her something, she always wants to debate and she wants to be challenging and things like that. And in order to survive as a woman in this world, you have to be challenging. You have to have your own opinions and your brain. Like, sometimes some people, somebody's home but the lights are not on. Is that a correct terminology or phrase, whatever how you call that? But at the end of the day, like, what happened? It's just things like that. Like, you're always doing things for other people because you just want to make them happy, despite it making you unhappy. Another example would be, like, say you're talking to a guy, because we're talking about daddy issues and male validation. You're talking to a guy and he's telling you to meet up with him in sketchy places that you don't feel comfortable with. Instead of saying, I don't feel comfortable with that, I'm gonna have to block you, you have to go. You go, and now unfortunate things happen. It's just things like that. Like, you're always being kind to people out of, you know, some sort of like you just have a craving for attention and validation and approval, and you just want this void in your heart because, you know, your daddy didn't love you, to be field. So it's just things like that. Do not do that. It's called lacking boundaries, it's called lacking self-respect, and it's called being slow. I wouldn't say slow, it's just lack of boundaries. So how do I fix my nice girl syndrome? First of all, is you have to create clear boundaries. What are things that you are not okay with, and what are things that you are not okay with but you can be lenient with, and what are things that it's okay, like you don't really care for. You just have to have boundaries. Boundaries take you far. And the thing about boundaries is, oh, I have this boundary, please don't do it, doesn't cut it. When someone does something to you that you do not want, you have to take action. Let's just say you and I are friends, we're two girlfriends, and I do something to you that you don't like. Maybe I'm talking to your ex-boyfriend or something like that, or your ex-husband, or just somebody that you used to talk to. Instead of just saying, hey, it's my boundary, please don't do that, and you just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna cut you off, because why the hell are you doing that? It's so shady. Or you borrow something of mine, and instead of giving it to me in a reasonable time, you could give it to me in an unreasonable time, and then now my item is damaged. I don't want to overlook that. That's so disrespectful. Like, there's going to be behaviors that are going to be, continuous behavior. I'm going to block you, and I don't want to be your friend no more, because if you can't respect me and if you can't respect my boundaries, then you don't respect me at all. And if you don't respect me and I let you disrespect me, then I don't disrespect myself. And that's the thing. When you are someone who respects herself, you respect the boundaries that you set. You stand on business, and you respect yourself. You respect your time. You respect your mind. You respect yourself. Like, you don't do things that you don't want to do. You don't go to places that you don't want to go to. You don't wear things that you don't want to wear. You only like to do things that you want and that are beneficial to you. Then other people will see that, and most likely they're either A, going to leave you alone because they already know, like, hey, she's not going to do what I want anyways, or B, they're going to respect the fact that you respect yourself. It's just either those two. So, and when you're a nice girl, like when you have a nice girl syndrome, you just don't want to rock the boat. You're like, oh, I don't want to make this person upset. Oh, how are they gonna feel? Who cares how they feel? How do you feel? What? Do you like that? No. Do you want to do that? No. Are you doing this because you genuinely want to do it and because you genuinely care to do it? No. You're only doing it because you want some sort of approval. So, don't do it. At the end of the day, like, it is what it is. This is the world. Like, you think 100 years from now on, some random people from your past calling you, oh, she's such a sweetheart, because you put yourself last and put their wants and needs first, is gonna matter to you? Do you think one day when we're all dead and gone from this earth, that's gonna matter? No. At the end of the day, when you're older, when you're literally like 90 years old on a hospice bed and you're thinking about your life, you don't want to be like that person that thinks, damn, I wish I didn't let that man talk to me like that. Damn, I wish I didn't let my career go. Damn, I wish I didn't have children that I didn't want. Damn, I wish I cut off that toxic friend a long time ago. Like, you just don't want to think about you don't want to look back at your life and think like, damn. It's just damn you. All you think about is all the things that you didn't do. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, who cares? Do them now. You're alive now. You're here now. You're young now. You're hip now. Don't let these people waste your youth. And that's the thing. When you're young, your youth is going to slip from you very fast. It's going to slip from your hands very, very fast. If all you do is, complain about things, if all you do is let people take advantage of you, if all you do is let people cross your boundaries, if all you do is let people disrespect you and then you disrespect yourself, like, that's not a life that you want to live. You might as well be dead at the end of the day. Like, it really is. Life is already hard. The thing about life is it's already hard all on its own, especially when you're a woman. Why would I want to be friends with certain people who already make my life hard? Why would I want to be with a man who's making my life hard for no reason? There's no amount of love that's going to make me want to be around somebody that's making my life hard when life in general is hard. People die out of nowhere. Imagine, like, you're just chilling one day and then boom, you lose somebody that you love. Now you're now you're grieving, and then now you got Michael or Ahmed in your phone talking crazy and reckless to you. Why? Life is already hard. I don't need nobody to make my life even harder than it already is. You know what I mean? So it's just things like that. Like, you just have to be, somebody who's willing to have self-respect, somebody who's willing to have boundaries and clear boundaries, and then standing on those boundaries. Not just, oh, that's my boundary, please don't do it. I'm talking about you have to enforce your boundaries. People don't want to do abide by your boundaries, they got to go. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Please don't be doing things that you do not want, and don't be saying things that you do not want. Don't wear things that you don't want to wear. Don't go to places that you don't want to go to. Always be yourself and always do things that make you happy, because life is already exhausting. And the thing about this is, okay, just one more point. Nobody's saying be rude to people. Nobody's saying be selfish all the time. Nobody's saying be a rude B word all the time. Like, it's good to be kind. It's good to be nice. It's good to be put others first sometimes, but don't do it all the time to the point that you never have anything for yourself. This is what it all comes down to. But anyways, bye. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys get rid of that nice girl mentality, because you're always going to finish last.